Bibliotex is a place where I'm sharing my own ideas regarding what I'm thinking about, the trend in the industry, about tools to learn for the analytics, for data science, for business analytics, or for finance. When we come to the topic of today, I want to start with a quick message. Learn Power BI until it's too late to learn it. Why? Because Power BI is getting a lot of popular this period. I'm receiving a lot of messages on LinkedIn for collaborating and creating the Power BI dashboards. But it's not about only dashboards. When we are talking about the Power BI, we don't have to think about it as a tool which creates the visualization of the dashboard. It's a tool which gives you the early indication of how the performance of your products, how the performance of your portfolio is doing. Whether you are a finance pro, you are a data analyst, data scientist, or business analyst, believe me, Power BI is a tool that you need to get in your tool set, in your skill set as an analytical person who is navigating in the data. You might not agree with me, and you might tell me that Power BI is not the best tool. You might say that you're preferring to use, I don't know, other tools, because in the industry there are a lot of tools. You might have your reason, but I'm saying my reasons because I'm observing this need of transitioning to Power BI, whatever tool you are using, but I'm not insisting on that. But today we are here not for that. But today I want to also give you a value of your time and I want to show you some DAX functions in Power BI. As you know, DAX functions are very important in the Power BI. Without that, you cannot actually create the flexible, adjustable KPIs and indicators in your dashboard report, right? You are coming from the finance, you know very well what's the countif in Excel. There's the logic is the same, but the functionality is different. So if you want to use the countif, it's going to be in the next logic. You are going to use the calculate. Calculate is a special function. I mean, like, it's probably the most important function. The calculate is the most important function probably in Power BI. So that's very important to you understand the logic of how the calculate works. Well, how you using calculate countif function, like the equivalent of the countif function in the Power BI is that you are using the calculate, and then the next you're opening the bracket and you're filtering the desired value from the desired table column and showing the expression that you want to do. For example, count rows. The same logic, sumif function again in the same calculate, but you're changing the count rows to the sum. Well, the second one that is very important to know is related, because as you know, in Power BI you have the data model. Usually you have the dimensional tables and the fact table. The fact table and the dimension tables are related to each other through the keys, right? It's as if you are coming from the data analyst background or data science background, you might see in the SQL something like joins or something like merge, all right? And for instance, in Excel, you might say that, all right, we could use the vertical lookup, but it's not the same. So again, related as a function of DAX, it's very important, very powerful function that can help you to get the value from the other table in your current table of the calculations. Otherwise, you are gonna get an error. So it's extremely important to work with the date values. So you want to see how your performance is doing in comparison to the last year or last month. So in order to create these timely dependent values, for example, you want to see the year-over-year rate of your product's performance. What you're doing, you're using time intelligence functions. There are several time intelligence functions that you can use. One of them is the parallel period, which is just getting the parallel period of the last year. There are some difference, or last year or last period, you're selecting that based on how you want to select. And there are different ways of doing that, sort of same period, last year or whatever is it. And this time intelligence functions are extremely important if you are working with the time series data, and usually you are working with the time series data. If you are a data analyst, a financial analyst, you are a finance bro, and it's important to have the time series data for the financial analysis. Otherwise, like, what kind of a financial analysis you are about to do? And last but not least, my favorite function is switch function. Switch function is a very powerful function in the Power BI if you want to have your dashboard dynamic and not just have the data visualization, because it's important to give the power. Why is Power BI? Like, I really love the game of words of Microsoft that are using the Power BI. I'm seeing that you're given the power to the user to use the BI, business intelligence. So you need to make sure, as an analyst, you need to make sure that the end user who's gonna use this dashboard after you have published it online is gonna have extremely huge flexibility, ease, and comfort in adjusting, modifying, doing whatever he or she or they want with the data. So to be the master of data. So you're given the possibility them to lead data, to have to become a master of data. And switch function is one of those functions are given really huge amount of flexibility on adjusting your visuals or KPIs or whatever you think you want to have. Well, these are the DAX functions that I have mentioned, and I hope this was useful for you. And if you want to watch, if you're a beginner in the Power BI and you want to have some intro to the Power BI and a crash course, you can click on the subscribe button